Hi folks, this is Luke Hughes, lead for Burden of Command. And today I want to talk about whether we're historically credible. This is a very personal topic for me because my father and my mother were both involved in World War II. My father in the Pacific, my mother as a nurse. My dad went on from that to become an eminent Pulitzer finalist historian. So I care about getting the history right. And that's true of the team too. We follow an historic unit, 7th Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division, the Cottonbalers. And I want to talk about what we did to try and make it credible. We hired an archivist to find us photos, but also, that's a wreck in Morocco. We didn't know what we were doing. After action reports from captains like you'll be. Maps. It's remarkable materials, and we hope to get a lot of this out after the game goes out for general usage, because not all these documents are in public. Most importantly, we were privileged to have Professor John McManus, who is our official historian, read all our first drafts of our narrative and give us historical feedback. Obviously, the buck stops with us, though. Now, our company is fictional, but we are in an historical setting. So I'd like to give you a sense of one of these campaigns. We're going to start with France. What you'll notice is that the history is integrated. We try to provide both narrative, interactive fiction, photography, historical sound effects, and of course the tactical campaigns themselves. So why don't you get a sense here? Sometimes we will also have graphic imagery. We want to convey the burden of command, but not gratuitously. John, thank you for all the implicit scenarios you gave us in the book, and thank you, Cottonbalers, as well, for what you did. Our scenario designers are experienced combat mission and other historical military games based. Our writers have some background in military and interactive fiction. The challenge for us as a team was to integrate it all into one cohesive historical experience. You can see here a sample footnotes that we, crazily enough, put in a game because we're trying to give an engaging experience. We're not trying to entertain per se, but we hope it will engage. I'll have more on that in a moment. And that's it really in a nutshell. By the way, we've done a separate video, Are We Credible Tactically, if you really want to get in the tactical. But here we're talking about the experience of the historical leadership campaign. I want to dive a little further into the actual written narrative here to convey what we understood to be the historical context. It's raining. It's always raining now, in the misty mountains, in the forests and the valleys, everywhere that Nickel Company happens to be. Your boots squish with every step along the road. A raw itch gnaws at your feet as the cold, wet socks rub against your skin. The advance in France has not gotten any easier. The towns have ceased to sweep past. The Germans fought in the foothills with flak wagons. They rolled self-propelled guns down the streets of Vannes. And now you're in the Vosges Mountains, still fighting for every mile. Remember, this is not about fun. It's about engagement with the real experience, connecting to the past. Next, I want to talk about something quote-unquote crazy we did. We put footnotes in the game. Why would we do such a thing? Well, we want to connect you to the past. This is a role-playing game. We're trying to put you there, in their boots, maybe not always pleasantly. It's not quite as crazy as it seems. We footnote the photos here, as you can see. Because think of fantasy RPGs. They often you find books in the ruins and so forth, like Baldur's Gate 3. Similarly, we wanted to immerse you. The photos are footnoted. We had to send archivists in. Now, as mentioned that, sometimes we give you the literal descriptions in the back of the photos that we got copies of. You can see here a little context I've already given you. Just let you read a bit. I've actually gotten a surprisingly positive reaction to the footnotes. People want to be immersed. Speaking of which, between scenarios, this is your interface. Entirely up to you if you want to browse, again from the archives. You can read what they were reading, basically. It's pretty fascinating, I think, but then I'm a history geek. Exactly. The last item is, we want to record for you your personal journey, much like a soldier might have had a photo album if they were lucky. So as you move through the campaign in your particular way, having different experiences than other players might, we capture the images that you've seen for good or for bad. Your experience. You get your own photo album. Often for campaign segments earlier, like perhaps you're in Germany and it'll take you back to who you lost or what happened in Morocco. It's your leadership journey through the past and through your own experience. I'd like to close by noting we had the remarkable privilege of ending up in an historical and still current military newspaper, Stars and Stripes. It's a heavy burden to try to live up to this kind of privilege, but the team cares. We hope you'll have an engaging historical experience.